Nope. Ted, you don't have a microphone on. Can't hear what you're saying.
There we go. How's that?
That's better.
Okay, I got a whole bunch of commercials, something for Microsoft, something for somebody else.
I don't get commercials.
I don't know what it was.
No.
I don't know what it was.
No.
Okay. Let me get my coffee and see where he is. Where did we finish yesterday?
Yeah, I think we finished 58, so we're up to Nun Tet. Maybe he went on. Oh, he went on. He just went. He went on to a little on to Nun Tet. 59.
Yeah. An earthenware pot. Schlossberger. Yeah. Okay. Don't go away. I'm going to get my coffee.
Yeah, okay. I have so many things to do that, well, what could I tell you? I think I'll call Jeannie today, find out how much they've progressed in finding this out.
Yeah, there's a lot of regulations they have to check.
God heavens.
Morning, Bob.
Morning.
Oh,
Morning,
good.
Harvey.
How are you?
Baruch Hashem. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Hanging in there?
Hanging in there.
Where you keep Lee lately? I don't see her around. You keep her hidden away?
No, I think she's having breakfast now.
Oh, okay. Enjoy. Send my regards. Be well.
Yeah, she's already been on the computer, right?
Oh, she's already finished. Okay. So be it.
Yep.
Okay, where's everyone's not here yet?
No, that's it. There's only 3 of us right now.
Okay. So we'll hang in there.
Let's see. Erwin usually comes in just about now. And then the rabbi eventually shows up.
Yeah.
I don't know why he is.
These people are from
I had my grandson's bar mitzvah party, I guess it was yesterday.
Oh.
All online. All online.
Yeah, I went to a Zoom bar mitzvah too. A Zoom siyum too.
Oh.
Bar mitzvah siyum. Very nice. Beautiful.
Yeah, I hate to tell you, I went to a Zoom memorial from Staten Island,
Oh, never. Who's
Abe Bluestein.
Oh, yeah. How is Gladys is not well, right? Gladys is not
correct. Well. She has the virus also, but unfortunately, she still does not know that he passed away.
Right.
Yeah,
oh.
Hi, never.
Yeah. What could I tell you?
Yeah, I think the rabbi's on the line.
Huh? Rabbi Green looks like he's close. There we go.
Oh, there he is. Okay. I'm gonna unmute. I'll mute myself and
okay.
I'll listen in.
Good morning.
Morning, Rabbi.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, we'll get rolling. Okay. I think that's probably your one. That's right.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, we're all here. Great. We got yesterday up till the first couple lines of Nun Tet, Amud Aleph, right? So I just want to quickly review that and then we'll get on because the next Amud is long, all right? So the Gemara was dealing with the question of Tuma in terms of two utensils. And we said the underlying principle was if the utensil, excuse me, can still be used for its original purpose, okay, then that would still imply it's a valid utensil and can be makabel tuma, right? And that's where we rolled over onto the top of Nun Tet, where it said, Ela Amar Rava, says Rava, O'il v'ra'ui lahakisho al gabe cheres, implying that even if you took the bell and removed the clapper, you could bang it against a earthenware utensil, and as a result would still get the same sound, implying it's usable for its original purpose, and thus be makabel tuma. Okay? Itmar nami, it was also said, Amar Rabbi Yossi, says Rabbi Yossi b'Rabbi Chanina, O'il v'ra'ui lahakisho al gabe cheres, since again, he also said you can beat it against a earthenware utensil, right? Therefore, the same thing. Rabbi Yochanan Omer, O'il v'ra'ui legamea, bo mayim letinok, that since even though you're not using it for its original purpose, but you're using it for an alternative purpose, namely you're using the bell-shaped item as if it's a cup and you can give it to a child to drink from it, therefore it's makabel tuma. That's where we ended yesterday. Gemara is going to pick up now and say, wait a second, are you sure that that's what Rabbi Yochanan said, that if it's for an alternative purpose, it also still would be makabel tuma? Let's see. Rabbi Yochanan, says the Gemara, 4 lines down on the top of Nun Tet, right? Lo bai me'ein melacha rishona? Doesn't Rabbi Yochanan require that it has to be something similar? Sorry, something similar to its original purpose? Vahatanya, and aren't we taught elsewhere in the Braita, V'chol kli asher yeshev alav, okay, namely that any utensil, says the pasuk, everything that a zav can sit upon, right? In that situation, in other words, even if it's not normally a couch or a chair or something like that, since the zav sits on it, wouldn't that automatically render it tameh, the gomer, etc.? So if that's the case, if we're interpreting that pasuk, yachol kafa se'ah v'yashav, it's possible then that if he took some sort of utensil used to rake or clean or plow a seah of land, but sat on that utensil, right? V'yashev aleha. Okay, turned it over and sat on it. Kapa tirkav v'yashav aleha. Or if he turned over that kind of a utensil to only dig up or row or rake or clean a tirkav, a half a seah of land, v'yashav aleha, yehei tamei. It would therefore be tamei. Talmud Lomar, says the text, asher yeshev alav hazav. That's why the rest of the pasuk says that he sits on it, the zav, implying that it's got to be something normally used for sitting. Mi shemiyuchad yeshiva, okay, something that is set aside for the purpose primarily of sitting. Yatsa zeh she'omrim lo amod v'na'aseh malachtenu. Therefore, that excludes an item, another kind of utensil, where we could say to the Zav, get up, because we need to use that utensil for its work, for its main purpose. In other words, the Zav must move for us in order to be able to either measure that amount of land. Okay, so it implies that it must be based on its original purpose. Again, now, Rabbi Elazar Omer b'midrasot, in regards to those in persons that are have some sort of a flow, whether it be a zav or a zava, or even a woman that's in nida, for example. Omrim amod v'na'aseh malachtenu. To them, you could say that it doesn't apply, because you could tell them, get up, we need to use that item for its normal work, right? For its original purpose. Ve'ein omrim b'tamei meit amod v'na'aseh malachtenu. But you can't say that that applies to an object that became tamei because of tamei meis. Now, says the Gemara, the Rabbi Yochanan Amar, says Rabbi Yochanan, Af Omer b'tamei meis amod v'ne'aseh malachtenu. You could even say, says Rabbi Yochanan, that it does apply to a situation of an object that became tamei, based on tamei meis, that we need to go back and use it for its original purpose. So what does that say about Rabbi Yochanan's position? Does it say it's got to be, that it can become tamei only if it's used for its original purpose? Or do we say that if it's used to something similar, that it could become tamei? So the Gemara says, Ipuch kamaita, reverse the opinion, okay? In other words, reverse the first opinion, so there's no machloket in what Rabbi Yochanan is saying. The Gemara challenges that idea. Umay chazit de ifchat kamaita. What makes you think that it's better to reverse the earlier argument, the one we saw at the beginning, right? Up towards the beginning of the Amud with Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yossi B'Rebbi Chanina, that it doesn't have to have its original purpose, right? So he's saying, again, Ipuch Batraita, reverse the later argument. The second argument, Hashma'inan Leila Rabbi Yochanan, Debae Me'ein Melacha Rishona. Here then we learn that Rabbi Yochanan does require that the utensil has to have similar to its original purpose. Okay? The Tanya, okay, as we've taught in the Braita, Sandal shel behema shel matechet. If you have a shoe, like a horseshoe, okay, or some other kind of item, okay, that it's made out of metal, tamei, it's susceptible to becoming tamei. Lamai chaze, but what else is it useful for, suitable for, says the Gemara? Amar Rav, says Rav, ra'ui lishtot bo mayim b'milchama. Okay? That it's this shoe of the animal, metal shoe, is still closes in the hoof of the animal totally, so one could drink from it in a time of war. Rabbi Chanina Amar, says Rabbi Chanina, Ra'ui lasuch bo shemen b'milchama, that it's worthy to be able to put the oil in it and to anoint oneself, use it as a container for oil to anoint oneself during war. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, and Rabbi Yochanan says, B'sha'a shaboreach min hakrav at a point where a person has to flee from the battle, manicho beraglav, he could put that animal's shoe, okay, on his own foot, v'ratz al kotzin v'al bar kanin, and he could run through the thorns and the bushes, okay? So in other words, that would seem to imply from that Braita that Rabbi Yochanan does hold that it's still a utensil if it's used in a similar fashion, not strictly its original purpose. But the Gemara now goes for a little side issue. Mai ben Rav Rabbi Chanina. What's the difference then in the two answers, one given by Rav and Rabbi Chanina? Ika benehu demais. Why? Because it's the difference between them is it's disgusting. Okay, namely to have to drink from a animal's shoe. Bein Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Chanina, and what's the difference then between Rabbi Yochanan's view and Rabbi Chanina? Ika beinahu diyakir. Okay, and the difference between them is that it's very heavy, right? To have to put that on your foot and try to run with it is a problem. But still, the implication is that Rabbi Yochanan held it could be an object susceptible to Tuma if it's used for a similar purpose and not only its original purpose. Okay, let's go on now to a new section from the Mishnah. It said the woman lo ba'ir, v'lo ba'ir shel zahav, and not with a tiara that appeared like the city of gold. So the Gemara asks, "My ba'ir shel zahav." What do we mean, a city of gold? Rava bar Chana amar Rabbi Yochanan said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Yerushalayim de Dahava, a Jerusalem of gold. Let's go over to the next Amud. Kida'avad le Rabbi Akiva the Debeitahu, as was done by Rabbi Akiva for his wife. Okay, we all know the famous story of her, right, pulling the straw out of her hair, right? Then she sells her hair to provide the tuition for him to be able to go to the Beis Midrash, okay? And he says to her, of course, if I ever get wealthy, I'll buy you a tiara with the Jerusalem of gold. Okay, let's go now to a new section. Tanu Rabbanan, we've got the following Braita. Lo tetzei isha be'ir shel zahav. A woman, says the Braita, should not go out into the Reshus Harabim on Shabbat with this tiara, with a model or a symbol of the Jerusalem of gold. Ve'im yatzta, and if she goes out, chayevet chatat, divrei Rabbi Meir. If so, says Rabbi Meir, she has to bring a chatas. Okay, he doesn't consider it an adornment; he considers it inappropriate. The Chachamim omrim, and the sages say, lo teitzei, she really shouldn't go out. V'im yatzta ketura, but if she does go out, she is exempt. She's not liable. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, says Rabbi Eliezer, yotz'a isha be'ir shel zahav lechatchila. According to Rabbi Eliezer, she may wear this tiara of Jerusalem of gold, okay, symbol, in Reshus Harabim initially. Okay, why? But my kimiflage, what are they really arguing about? The following, says the Gemara. Rabbi Meir Stavar Masuihu. Rabbi Meir is of the opinion that it is a burden and therefore prohibited totally. Rabbanan Savre Tachshitu. And the rabbis consider it a piece of jewelry, an adornment, an ornament, and therefore permitted. Okay? Not, right? Dilma, but the question that the rabbis have is, Dilma Shalfa umechaya. Perhaps she's going to remove it. Umechavaya le, right? And she's going to show it to another woman. Va'atya la'atuye. And she's going to carry it within the Rishus HaRabim. The Rabbi Eliezer Savar, and Rabbi Eliezer is of the opinion, Man darka lamefak be'ir shozahav. What kind of woman is it that goes out in the Rishus HaRabim wearing such a tiara? V'isha chashuva. It's a very important, wealthy woman. V'isha chashuva lo mishalfa umachvaya. And a wealthy, important woman is not going to take it off just to show her neighbors, okay, her lady friends. Okay. Now, what about the next item that we find referred to from our Mishnah? Kalila. Okay, a kalila is again a kind of tiara or a kind of wreath, right? Okay. Now, Rav Asar, Rav forbade it, Ushmuel Shari, and Shmuel permitted it. Okay. Now the Gemara says, Da'anischa, if it was made of metal, Kuli Alma lo plige de asur. Everybody is in agreement that it's forbidden. Ki plige da'arukta. But where do they argue? They argue when they say that it's embroidered, that it's a wreath, so to speak, that's woven of fabric and it's inlaid with metal. Mar savar anischa ika, umar savar arukta ika. One master holds that the metal is the essential element. One master holds that the material, the fabric, is the woven, is the essential element. Rav Ashi matne lekula. Excuse me. And Rav Ashi interpreted this situation, okay, he learned it towards a leniency, namely the following. Da arukata, that if it's an embroidered a wreath or tiara, the kuli alma lo plige de shari, okay, that everybody is in agreement that it's permitted. Ki plige de anischa, where they argue, it's when it's made of metal. Mar savar, one master holds, dilma shalfa umachvaya va'ate la'atuye, that one master thinks she may remove it and to show it, and therefore carry it. Umar savar, man darka lamefak bekalila, okay, according to whom would it be a pattern to remove such a wreath? Isha chashuva, an important wealthy woman. V'isha chashuva lo shalfa umachvaya, but an important woman would not remove it to show it. Now, Amale Rav Shmuel bar Chana LeRav Yosef, and in this case we have a side aspect to the story. Rav Shmuel bar Chana was a Talmid Muvhak of Rav Yosef, even at the point when Rav Yosef, because of illness, had forgotten a lot of his learning. And this is the situation that he's reminding Rav Yosef about. Beferish Amartlan Mishmei Rav Kalila Shari. Okay, explicitly you told us in the name of Rav, right, that wearing such a wreath, okay, is permitted, right? So that this would seem to say that Rav Ashi's view, okay, is acceptable, okay? Namely, so he said, as we see then what happens, right? Amrule, he said, he said then to Rav, Ata Gavra Rabba Aricha Linahadea. Okay, and so what happens? He told him, okay, the following. Okay. You said that a tall man, right, came to Nahardea, umatla, and he also was limping, right? Vidarash kalila shari, and he gave a drasha, a public discourse, saying that this kind of tiara or wreath was acceptable on Shabbat in the Rishus Rabbi. So Rav Yosef asks, Amar, Man Gavra Rabba Aricha De'ilah? Who is this tall man with a limp? Okay, that you're talking about? Levi. It's Levi. Now, remember, Levi was an important scholar who had been a student or colleague, sort of Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi. Okay? So he was, in a sense, sort of transfigure, end of Tanaim, beginning of Amoraim, so to speak. Shmamina, okay? So since Levi came to Nahardea, to Bavel, okay, and he gave a public discourse there, okay, it would appear now that we have a situation, okay, that someone is going to deduce from this the following. Shmamina nach nafshe de Rabbi Ephes. It must imply that Rabbi Ephes has died. Okay. And what happened? V'yativ Rabbi Chanina Beresha, and that Rabbi Chanina must be sitting at the head of the academy. V'lo hava le inish leLevi lametev gabe, and there was no person with whom Levi could sit in order to learn. Okay? What we need to understand here is that the following, that Rabbi Chanina, who is the son of Rebbe, okay, was not initially the head of the academy, but he was not willing to accept the authority of Rabbi Ephes as head of the academy. And so he sat outside. Levi then, in willingness to understand the situation, would sit outside the academy walls and learn with Rabbi Chanina. At the death of Rabbi Ephes, okay, Rabbi Chanina then would become the academy head. If that's the case, Levi, as a sort of senior colleague, however, and somebody who had learned and actually helped teach Rabbi Chanina, was not prepared to accept Rabbi Chanina's authority, and therefore he left and went to Babylonia. V'ka'ate lahacha, and therefore he came here. V'dilma, so the Gemara says, wait a second, what gives one the reason to deduce that series of events? V'dilma nach nafshe de Rabbi Chanina. Maybe we might argue instead that the situation was that it was Rabbi Chanina who passed away and not Rabbi Ephes. The Rabbi Ephes kidekai kai, and Rabbi Ephes still is in existence. V'lo hava le inish leLevi lametev gabe v'ka'ate lahacha, and therefore Levi didn't have anyone to sit and learn with outside the Beis Midrash if Rabbi Chanina died, and that's why he came here. Im ita. So the Gemara is now going to prove, no, the original deduction was correct. Namely, im ita the Rabbi Chanina, shchiv, were it such, says the Gemara, that Rabbi Chanina had died, Levi the Rabbi Ephes, mechaf havechiyef laho. If that's the case, Levi would have accepted the authority of Rabbi Ephes, okay, and he would have, so to speak, bowed to that authority. Right? The two, and furthermore, the Rebbe Chanina lo sagi de lo milich, and certainly says furthermore that Rabbi Chanina, it's not sufficient to say that he wouldn't have become the ruler, the head of the academy, the chihava kanecha nafshe de Rebbe, because when Rebbe happened to pass away, Amar, he specifically said, Chanina b'Rebbe Chama yati barosh, that Chanina, the son of Rabbi Chama, he should sit at the head of the academy, right? And therefore, Kativ Baho, and therefore we have written elsewhere, but Tzadikim regard to the righteous, V'tigzor Omer Vayakam Lach V'gomer, that when the righteous decrees something, it's certainly going to be carried out. And therefore, there's no reason to assume that if Rebbe said that Rabbi Chanina is to become the head of the academy, there's no reason to assume that that didn't occur. As a result, says the Gemara, Darash Levi ben Nahadea. Therefore, that's why we can come back and say that Levi gave a public discourse in Nahadea, Kalila Shari, that this wreath or this tiara would be considered permitted, all right? And what happened? Nafik esrin va'arba kalile mikula Nahadea, that namely 24 women came out on a Shabbos wearing such a tiara, such a wreath in Nehardea. Furthermore, the Gemara then tells us, Darash Rabba bar Abuha b'Mechoza, that Rabba bar Abuha said the same public statement, Kalila Shari, that such a wreath wearing on Shabbat was permitted in the Rishus HaRabim. And what happened? V'nafku tamne sare kalile mechada mavua. And in that situation, we say what happened was that 18 women wearing such a tiara or wreath, okay, mechada mavua, all came out from the same alleyway, okay, from this very same location, right? Of course, the implication here that Mechoza was a very large town, okay, a wealthy community, shipping and travel, and therefore that's what it comes to share with us. Okay, going on. Amar Rav Yehuda. Says Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav Shmuel. Okay? Let's take another garment. Okay, kamra. Okay, what is this kamra? It's a kind of girdle or gilded belt that had golden threads woven into it. Okay, kamra shari. That this kamra is seems to be permitted. Okay. Ika da amre da arukta. Some say, okay, that it was embroidered, right? Like we saw before, woven with fabric and metal inlay. Sorry. Va'amar Rav Safra, and Rav Safra says, Mide dahava atalit muz hevet, similar to a cloak that could have metal threads woven into it. Ve'ikada hamre, and others say the da'anischa, that this belt, girdle, or okay, was totally of metal. Va'amar Rav Safra, midei dahava a'avneit shel malachim, that in that case it would be similar to the avnate, to the kind of cummerbund or belt worn by kings. Okay, Amarle Ravina, says Ravina Levav Ashi. Kamra Aluye Hamaina. What about one belt, okay, on top of another belt, or this woven belt, girdle, on top of another plain plain belt? Mai, what's the situation? Amarle, he said to him, Trey Hamaine Kamart, two belts you're talking about? Okay. Amar Rav Ashi, Hi Risuka. Okay. In this case, we're talking about one that is a short belt with wide straps or fringes. Iitle mefrachaita. Okay. If it has these fringes on it, shari, then it would be permitted, right? The ilo asir, and if not, it's forbidden. Going on, velo bekatla, and not with a katla. Okay, so Gemara asks, ma'i katla, what is this object of katla? Min kata pare, okay, namely that this is again, it's a small garment, okay, that holds various trinkets and objects. Okay, nizamim, in terms of rings, nizme ha'af. Okay, we're talking about nose rings. Right? So now we go into more detail with regards to rings. Okay, says the Mishnah, velo b'tabat she'ein aleha chotem. Okay, but not with a ring that doesn't have a chotem, a signet, okay, a seal. Ha yesh aleha chotem chayevet. That seems to imply that if it does have a seal or a signet, one would be obligated, one would be liable. The woman would be liable. Alma, therefore, lav tachshitu. We can't consider it a woman's ornament, right? Or minhu. But we'll challenge this with the following braita, all right? Contradict it. Tachshite nashim tme'in. That we say that ornaments, women's ornaments, are susceptible to tuma. Ve'elu hein, and which ornaments are we talking about? Tachshite nashim, right? Which ones? One, katlaot. One would be this katlaot, okay? Which is a kind of, let's say, necklace, right? Nizamim, nose rings. Tabaot, finger rings, right? Right? V'tabaot bein sheyesh aleha chotem, bein she'ein aleha chotem. And a finger ring, whether it has a seal on it or if it doesn't have a seal on it. V'nizme af, and nose rings. So the other nizamim probably actually is referring to earrings as opposed to nose rings. Okay. Va'amar Rabbi Zera lo kasha. And Rabbi Zera says there's no problem really here. Ha, Rabbi Nechemia. In one case, a braita follows the view of Rabbi Nechemia. Ha, Rabbanan. In another case, it follows the view of the rabbis. The Tanya, as we were taught elsewhere in a braita, okay, he shall matechet, if the ring, okay, is made from metal, the chotma shall almog, and its seal is made from coral, tme'ah, it's susceptible to tumah. He shall almog, but if the ring itself is made from coral, v'chotma shel matechet, and its seal is made from metal, tahora, it would be tahora. that apparently is the view of the rabbis. The Rabbi Nehemiah mitame, and Rabbi Nehemiah says it's tame, susceptible to tuma. Why? Shahaya Rabbi Nehemiah omer. Why? Because Rabbi Nehemiah was of the opinion b'tabat halech achar chotma, that when we deal with these rings, it's based on what the material was as the fabric or the material for the source for the seal. Okay. Similarly, ba'ol halach achar samlonav. Likewise, Rabbi Nehemiah said, if we have the yoke that we put on an animal, right, we go based on the simlonav, on this yoke, based on the rods that are attached, the metal pieces of rods. We'll go over just a little bit to the top of Samach, okay? Bekolav, okay, if we have this board or rack, okay, that storekeepers use to display their wares, halach achar masmerotav. We say it goes after the nails, right? Because these nails were used to hang their wares on it, right? Bisulam halach achar shalivotav. And with a ladder, we say it goes after what the rungs are made of. Right? Ba'arsi, in some sort of a scale, right? Halach achar shal shalotav. It goes based on the chains that support the scale. Right? The chachamim omrim, but the sages say hakol holech achar hama'amid. That the sages disagree, and they say everything depends on that which is supporting it. Okay? So by that, we're referring to that it's more the frame, for example, of a ladder than the rungs, okay, or the frame of the scale and not the chains.
Doesn't the ring become something useful? We make it into a signet? A signet ring
Okay,
is...
so we're going to see ultimately, good question, Ted, okay? The question is going to be raised later in the Gemara. Who wears a signet ring? Usually men,
King, yeah.
right? They use it as a way of signing a document.
Yes,
So
not an ornament.
So therefore, if that's the case, it couldn't be an ornament, and therefore that's why it would be prohibited for a woman to wear it out in the Rishus Harabim on Shabbat, because then it would be considered more like a burden and not like a ornament. Okay, and I think basically, if we've got a few more minutes, we'll just go a little bit further on this Amud on Samach, because Amud Beis is very long. Right? So we'll go just a little bit longer. Okay. Rava Amar Litzdadim. Rava says, okay, it can be taught in a different manner, namely that when we talk about it, the definition can be explained in another way. Right? Litzdadim katani, namely, yesh aleha chotem, if it has a seal on it, tachshit deish, that it is the ornament of a man. Ein aleha chotem, if it has no seal on it, tachshit deisha, it's a ornament of a woman. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak Amar, he says, Tum'ah HaShabbat Karamit. You're trying to raise a question regarding the issue of Tumah and challenge an issue in regarding to Shabbat. Tumah Kli Ma'aseh. With Tumah, it has to be a very clearly, okay, it has to be utensils that are made for work. Okay? Amar Rachmana. That's what the Torah says. Uklihu. And therefore it has to be specifically a utensil. All right? And a signet ring is a utensil. Right? Your question, Ted. Shabbat, Mishum Masui. But on Shabbat, we're dealing, however, with something else. Namely, the question of a burden. Amar Rachmana. That's what the Torah says. Ein aleha chotem tachshit. And therefore, if it doesn't have a seal, is it okay? Okay, it's a ornament. Yesh aleha. Okay, if it does have a seal, masui. It does is a burden. Right? And that's where we'll stop. Okay, right there. Then we'll, unless you want me to finish to the Mishnah, guys.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah? Okay, all right. So we can go down to the Mishnah, as I said, because Amud Beis, Samach Amud Beis is very, very long. Okay? Okay, so what happens? The Gemara then says another example. V'lo b'machat she'eina nekuva. And you can't go out, she can't wear a pin or a needle, really, that hasn't been pierced, that doesn't have an eye in it. Okay? Lamai Chazia asks the Gemara, what is it suitable for? Amar Rav Yosef, says Rav Yosef, O'il v'isha ogeret ba se'ara. Since it's possible for a woman to braid, okay, or to tie her hair with it. Amarle, in other words, she could use it like a hairpin. Okay? Amarle Abai, says Abai, V'tahave kevirit tahora v'tishtare. So let it be considered no different than like a stocking or a garter, okay? A garter to hold up her, okay, hosiery, let's say, okay, in that regard, and therefore it would be permitted. Ela tirgama Rav Ada, but Rav Ada says, explained it as follows it, namely, Nirsha'a Kame de Rav Yosef. Okay, and he explained it before Rav Yosef. Ho'il v'isha choleket ba'se'ara. Since a woman can use it, this kind of needle, and she can use it to part her hair with it. Okay, right? That's the B'Shabbat Lamai Chazia. If that's the case, what purpose is it then for when she wears it on Shabbat? Amar Rava, says Rava, Tas shel zahav yeshla. In other words, this pin, this needle has another part to it. It has sort of a plate or a golden solid piece. Okay, think of the example I could give you is a kind of item that you used to see Spanish women wear. It had a solid piece and then like a comb. It had right. Okay, so there were two parts to it together. Okay, and what happened? All right, so tas shel zahav yeshla al rosha bechol choleket ba se'ara. On weekdays, she can use it similar to a comb. In other words, impart her hair. Right? B'Shabbat menichata keneged padachta. And on Shabbat, she would stick it in the front of her hair and wear the flat piece on her forehead. Okay, and that way it would clearly be considered an ornament. Okay, and if that's the case, okay, we would see then that it would be permitted. And we'll stop right there at the Mishnah, in the middle of the, okay.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thank
great.
you, Rabbi.
Hey, guys, have a good day. Take care.
Thank you.
and
Have a good day.
Stay healthy,
Good day.
everybody.
Have a good day. Everyone and God. Have a good day.